Hello. How's the audio sound? My neighbors are playing some psychedelic guitar. I'm not sure how much gain on this mic is picking that up. Victor. How's it going? I'm just gonna work on my configuration today. I figured like the last couple streams were a lot of nonsense with me and my friends, and some people probably appreciate that, but some people also probably want to see some actual Vim stuff. But I don't know how much that's true because there are a lot of people that have found me for different things. But yeah, I'm just gonna be working on, I haven't worked on my configuration in a few days, actually a few weeks, because I've just been prioritizing getting actual work done, but that's kind of the idea. And I thought I'd also just like read some GitHub issues and discuss them from the forum, because I feel like that would be good for progress in a lot of things. But right now I'm looking for something related to the Quickfix list. Make your mic a bit louder. Maybe only on my end though. You got on max volume. Okay. I wonder if I can change that. I wonder if I can change the gain. Properties. It's at max. Wonder if I can change that somewhere else, like in the Rode Central app. Is an app created by the app Slack? I'm not gonna open that on stream in case it's some kind of weird virus, but I have another mic. That is really weird. Slack, I guess. Is Slack like the proprietary developers? Oh, here's the, if I plug this in and then turn off these mics. Okay, maybe we'll get slightly better sound. Shoot, now it's not appearing at all. Wonder if I can. Oh, here we go. All right, how's that sound? That should be quite a bit better. I hope. I can control the gain on this too. All right, let me know if this sounds better. Finally, you settled on a laptop and monitor, enough for productivity. Yeah, pretty much. That is pretty much it. No Greek today until maybe later, just me. Echo. Okay, how about now? My audio input is gone. Should be okay now. There's yeah, maybe this is just an audio configuration stream. Okay, I think that fixed it, but let me know. All right, so, oh, Nvim config roasting series when? Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Okay, sweet, that's great. So I wanted to look at a couple of the issues here actually, and primarily I was trying to fix my Quickfix list because I've been trying to use the Quickfix list more, and I don't think, let's see, yeah, I don't have any toggles for it. Does anyone like know of any, no, it's not my first stream. Let's see, how about I create an issue related to this, and anyone who's presumably on their computer watching this stream can go drop advice towards it, and that way I can like type out exactly what I'm looking for as well, because I know it's probably clear in my head but not that clear to other people. How do you create an issue? Oh, I'm not on my config repo. Okay. Oh, and we have a pull request to review. Okay. Quickfix. Wait, let me check that this isn't already an issue. I guess again. Quick. No. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll create a new issue. Oh, nice. Generating certificates for a major company using Typst. Love to hear that. What are your keybinds for opening, maintaining, deleting, reordering, working with the Quickfix, and location lists in Vim? So if anyone wants to drop any info for me on how I can make my Quickfix list better, because you can do quite a lot with the Quickfix list. Like say I'm in this Lua file and I can GRR, and this shows all the document symbols of the new LSP binding. This is kind of nice because you can navigate around with like Q to jump to different document symbols all throughout the code base. But it's kind of inconvenient for me. Like right now I'm just using leader Q, and I don't know, like I wish I had like a hide and show toggle. I also think it's a little bit tall for me. Or here's another example. Let's see if I go to my board game and then open up like the voyage thing. For instance, you might want to GO, and that'll show you like a, oh, I can turn on screen keys actually. Let's see if that shows up. Okay, that's probably helpful to see, I guess. Yeah. Oh, here's an interesting question actually. Would Typst be good for reading books? My current method is converting EPUBs, PDFs to Markdown and reading them in NVim. That's very interesting actually. I'm not so sure about like back converting PDFs into a certain format. I honestly just read the PDFs, but that's a great question. I'm not sure about how to do it the other way around, but I'd like to look into it. How do you learn new Vim key bindings that help during programming? I can learn them, but I always rely on what I know most. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. It's hard to say. I would say I have to expose myself to them multiple times before I actually start to use them, and I have to really deliberately like go slowly and think, okay, how could I be using such and such a like binding or command here? And even if you like forget them all, just go over the manual multiple times. And I feel like whenever I have a vague inclination that I could be using something that I'm not, like say for instance right here, I'm like, oh, I want to do something with renaming everything, but I want to use like capture groups and regex. I don't really know how to do that, but I'm just gonna like capture, oh, I guess patterns is what, I never remember what the page is called. Pattern, just pattern, I guess. Yeah, and then I just like try to read through this again, and every time you do that, it maybe takes 6 or 7 times of rereading the same page, and it's like pretty annoying, honestly. But once you do that enough times, it like the first time it feels really bad and unproductive because you're not really getting a lot out of it, and then I don't know, by the second or third or even fourth time, then you're like getting so much more out of it because you understand more things and you're making more connections. So I'd just say keep rereading and rereading. Is his voice too low? Too low as in like low volume or low pitch? Oh, awesome. Here's what I use, sort of harpoon style. Thank you very much, user SPD. Okay, so we've got control Q for Copen, Quickfix open. Okay, I like that a lot. And then leader, okay, for I, oh, this is interesting. So this guy looks like he's creating maps within a loop. I'm gonna actually paste this into Vim so we can analyze it better. So let's go back to the config and then paste it down there. This code, okay, it looks like it's visible enough. So yeah, this first one, if we shout this out, source this, is for control Q to open the Quickfix list, so like that, and it toggles it. Okay, I really like that binding. That's smart, and probably could do something similar for location list as well. And then this is, I've never seen this before, defining bindings within a for loop, but I guess that makes sense. Because if you guys don't know this, it's an interesting fact. for loops actually don't speed up code at all. Like it's not faster to do a for loop than it is to just write this out 9 times. Like it's basically a macro that expands to the same thing. It's just like it's a way for us to avoid writing extra code, but totally makes sense you could do that to define key maps. So basically you're doing leader and then all of these to jump to CC and then that number. So if we control Q and I want to jump to, let's say, this line 3, vim command set mouse equals. So if I do leader, is it 3? I guess it's hard to tell with absolute line numbers. So I guess that would be 5, leader 5. Okay, okay, that's kind of interesting. I like that. And that's all right. One thing that was a little annoying there is I like hit copen and then it jumps you to it. I'd expect it to just close it, but that's okay. I can hit it twice if that's what I'd like. And then here's an interesting one. Okay, leader A. I think I already have a leader A, so I might have to remap something. Set quickfix list equal to vim.function.expand. So this is the current file. So we're adding the current file and we're putting it basically, okay, yeah, add current file to quickfix list and it adds it to the start. So if I were to leader A, and I think leader A is something for me already. Leader A. No, I guess this is the only leader A. That's nice. So if I do leader A and then control Q, we should see right at the top. I don't see it actually, leader A. Huh. Is this not the quick fixed list? This might be the, no, it should be. Add current file. Already back to the vim config? Yeah, hopefully not for too long. I'm just setting up some pretty basic quick fix list stuff. Okay, create a U group. So this is for within the quick fix list, basically. Oh, okay, so what this guy is doing here, if anyone is interested in this Vim script, is basically, this is an auto command that triggers whenever you enter a certain area, which is going to be the quick fix list, and he's calling it QF, which is just, this is creating a group to kind of organize the auto commands. And then in here he has a callback and he's passing a function in Lua. And what this is doing is just checking if the buffer type is indeed quick fix list, okay? And then it's creating a mapping that looks like CC, it looks like control Q closes it. So that's how he's getting the close. And then in another normal mode mapping, he's defined DD to delete something. So if we go here and then we type DD, it deletes the current item in the quick fix list. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, all right, I like that a lot, man. That's pretty much exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, sweet. There's another thing I wanted. Do you think it would be possible to convert Typst into HTML, CSS code in such a way that one could write blog posts in type similar to MDX? Oh, it's very funny you ask me that. Like, I feel like a lot of these questions people ask about Typst are like I don't want to throw shade at you, but it's like, did you look into Typst very deeply? That's like that's a thing many people have done before. Typst absolutely supports that, and I can show you within, I'll pull up a Typst project. I could just pull up a Typst file, actually. New.typst, or just type. Oh, that's already a thing. That's funny. So yeah, if you have some document, testing Typst document, and then you want to export it, I think, well, oh, this key casting is actually quite annoying. Can I? Okay. There's a command, like, I think it's tinymist, or maybe it's not, Typst preview. Okay. I guess I don't have the tinymist command set up, but Typst, if you go man Typst and compile, so if you click on this, you can see there's a bunch of options Typst supports for compile, and one of them is format. And in format, you can just output HTML, and I believe it'll output an embedded CSS within that. So it's a little bit hard to read. I could be wrong, it could separate them, but it absolutely can export HTML, and that's how it's able to. Someone asked this earlier. So you see this renders instantly, and if I start typing, it'll immediately reflect there. The reason we do this and not like use Zathra or something, so I could basically set up, there's a command called Typst watch, so I could do Typst watch and then new.type, and what this would do is recompile it to a PDF every time, and then you can take Zathra, the PDF reader, and do new.pdf, right? And that would open up a PDF reader. The problem is, first of all, my Zathra is broken. But even if it weren't broken, it's much faster to just stream your HTML output right to the browser, you know, because if you're compiling on every frame, basically, in Typst, it's going to have to write a whole PDF to disk, and Typst is extremely fast. But the thing is, you're writing to disk and then waiting for a refresh on disk with Zathra. And even if Zathra is configured, I believe, to have like the lowest latency disk read, first of all, that's a lot of disk I/O. But second of all, it's just not going to be as fast as direct streaming your HTML artifacts straight to the browser. And that's what this Typst preview plugin can do. So that's how it's able to do like things instantly like that. And if we pull up like a package for Typst, this one is called Cats or Sets. I think it's German. I don't know how to really pronounce it. But let's see if they have kind of an example of something. Examples. Okay, I don't know if I can get the code by clicking on this. Oh, sweet, I can. So if I copy and paste this in, oh, that did not copy, okay. And we should see pretty quickly, we get that rendering. And if you think about what just happened there, that is pretty amazing, right? This pulled from a package registry basically instantly. I mean, it's like just a GitHub repo right now, but it pulled that code right out of it, streamed all that Typst like over the internet, and then built this entire diagram pretty much instantly. And you can do any kind of arbitrary drawings like this. Like this is just tip of the iceberg. You know, you can do basically anything you want as long as you have the patience to program it. And then you can see there's all these stylistic things, right? And if I wanted to change something, like say that I wanted to swap out the radius on this, like to 4, I don't know what that would do. But okay, there we go. And you see how that just reflected instantly? This is awesome because it goes like all the way down in terms of its rendering. Like it's not just, oh, we fixed like a little bit of a text, like we changed our text a little bit and then the document updated. It's like this is all built on the same engine, so anything can update just arbitrarily quickly, which means you can be working on like insane diagrams or live math notes and just change all these things and like you'll immediately see a reflection. Like I don't know, I wasn't really looking closely at this code, but I'm guessing we can control the rotation here. Just alpha, sine, cosine. I'm guessing they're maybe even using some trig to calculate the positions of these. Okay, maybe they're not. Maybe it looks like they're just... Oh no, they are. See? Draw the green line angle. So they're using calc.tangent, and we could plug in 90, but it looks like they're using kind of 30 degrees. Oh, I didn't write. Yeah, I don't know if that changed much. But if we search for 30 degrees, it looks like it's placed there, and we could like s/30 deg / I don't know, 10 deg just to see what happens. And you could do g ampersand to rerun a substitute on the whole file. And now you can see we've kind of reflected this. Somehow I missed the alpha angle, but yeah, that's just like why I love this language so much. It has this instantaneous reflection power, and that's all powered by HTML. It's actually outputting. I don't know if we can see, the console should say, but it's like some weirdly optimal SVG artifact thing. So it basically gives you a document body, which is an HTML, it's basically just an HTML canvas, very simple. And then inside here, all it's doing is just outputting like a huge amount of SVG artifacts. So like in terms of SEO, this is probably horrible. You know, it's just like a Google crawler would be like, what is this guy just... this entire just canvas of random like SVG artifacts, you know, but for the convenience you get as a human, it's great. And I think they're kind of working on making this more HTML semantics. Thing is, in my opinion, I don't want to go on a huge tangent here, but I think SEO is pretty much dead and overrated anyway. Jake and I have a video coming out about this, but it basically like everything on Google is kind of just dead now. So SEO is just a total scam. SEO all now comes from just people knowing the link to your website, not searching for it. And if enough people know the link to your website, it'll come up first. It doesn't matter how weird and like unoptimal your SVGs are. So I would say you absolutely could write a blog, and I think people actually have generator. I think there's one called, Typsite. So this is just an SSG using Typst, which, it's got a whole bunch of, and the amazing thing is this diagram was totally drawn with Typst too, you know. One thing that bothers me a little bit is tons of people say like, oh, but I can't do XYZ in Typst. Oh, but what if I want to do this? And what if it doesn't have support for Pandoc? Asking me, and it's like, dude, did you even like go online for 2 minutes and try to look this up yourself first? Because there's just so much information about Typst. There's so many packages. There's like, go to the Typst universe and just like search around or browse around for different packages and templates, and you'll be like, oh wow, yeah, actually the physics paper I wanted to do, the physics illustration, whatever, is totally supported. Now, maybe you're doing something crazy high level, I don't know, but yeah, like this, for instance, this entire graphic is generated by Typst on the fly. Like, there's just so many packages to do basically anything you can think of. I think it's really actually quite stable and basically ready to take over LaTeX, in my opinion. I mean, maybe someone knows better than I do, and maybe someone is like here a really crazy mathematician and is still not ready to switch over because you have all your LaTeX set up, and that's fine. But yeah, that's oh, G and is life-changing. Dude, it so is. I use G and more than substitute now. Basically, like, sometimes I know that I can't do a certain thing, so let's say math slash, or S slash math slash calc, you know, and I run it there, and I'm knowing full well I'm going to G and after, and I literally do that instead of typing like the % sign, because I find G and just like more ergonomic to type. Just kind of crazy. Typst feels kind of commercial. That's a very interesting take, August. Well, and I agree with you, right? Here's the reasoning why Typst feels commercial. So they've got typst.app, which is the online web editor, but you need an account and you need all this, I don't know, it feels proprietary. It feels like you're locked into something and they're like a for-profit company, but that's not at all the case. And the reason is because every piece of tooling around Typst is open source if you go and look for them. And these guys are just like, they're like German university students just trying to support themselves while they work on this. And if like adding a little bit of monetization to Typst Pro, you know, is how they do it, that's how they do it. It's like overly for LaTeX. And Typst is totally open source. If you want to be based about Typst and not have it feel commercial, literally go install the Typst compiler. You can just go Typst compiler GitHub, completely open source. You can look at all of the code for everything. Just completely download this, build it from source yourself. Use Typst locally, use Vim, use TinyMist, which is the LSP for Typst. And these guys, if anyone's looking to contribute stuff to the Typst ecosystem and just get contributions on your resume, these guys are like brilliant, but they're like all Chinese, so some of their English and documentation around this is like a little bit fuzzy. Great place to like get on their team and start making translation PRs, just if you want to know how like a great project works, because this is one of the most organized. I mean, they've got 62 branches. They're rolling out features like nobody's business. But basically, yeah, all of this is open source. You can source, or you can host your entire Typst setup completely offline, open source. You don't have to deal with the Typst company. But I also will say, for feeling commercial, like for having, it's not paid, it's free, honestly. But if you want to collaborate with people in your classes, like I've done this before, just use the Typst app, because this online Typst web editor is nothing to scoff at, dude. It's a web editor running a live preview. I'm not gonna like log in because I don't want to give I don't want to auth in front of a bunch of people, but yeah, it's a live previewing app, and it supports like multi-cursors, so multiple people can edit at the same time, read write links, and Vim emulation, like really good Vim emulation too. Like they support Norm and all of that stuff. And it's like multi-cursor Vim emulation at the same time. You can get multiple of your friends using Vim mode online while collaborating with this, and then you can export like all formats of documents out of this. And it's like just Google Docs on steroids, because you can support any kind of images and diagrams and anything. And the syntax is like basically Markdown, so even people that have never programmed before and like know a tiny bit of Markdown can actually catch on pretty quick. And the math mode as well is just like amazing. I mean, it's just like, why can't I type? Okay. So you can just start typing math like you would think. Like I can just do an integral sub 0, to infinity. And there's no like stupid backslashes or stupid backslash frac. Here's how you get a fraction. Like it's just like x over y, and then I think it's diff for a differential. Or that's partial derivative. I don't know. Maybe you do dx, or, you know, whatever. And then you go back to the preview, it's just like, that's the syntax for math. Like, everyone's used Desmos before, you know, like, you'd literally just type out what you want, and then like underscore and caret. It's like, basically any normie can get this. And then you've got the live preview feature. It's like everyone editing with Vim mode at the same time, getting all this like great stuff. And then all you have to do to submit it is get one person to click like export to, and then it'll give you like HTML document, PNG, PDF. It's like, it's literally just so it's so insanely like free and powerful. And even if it feels a little proprietary, it's like, okay, you can host all of this stuff yourself anyway, but you can also use this web editor that's like incredibly capable. Oh, what's up, Big Box Swee? How's it going? We still have to collaborate sometime, Big Box Swee. I know I roasted you that time, but I didn't deeply mean any of that. And I think you are. You do have some funny bits sometimes, so we should totally collaborate. But I do have a lot on my plate. I'm still just kind of trying to think of an idea. But it'll happen. Oh, sweet. We got a donation. Sorry to bother you. My girlfriend has made a DSL to use SVGs in a better way. It's called Miro. The site and the name and app. Okay. Can you please take a look and give your opinion? Sure can. Miro. Is that Miro SVG? Miro, let's see. Miro and .app. Okay, Miro.app. Okay. I did not see that. Let's paste that in there. Okay, SVGs, one file, zero fuss. All right. Interesting. Design, animate, export SVGs from one file. All SVGs, one file. All right, first of all, gotta say, great looking website. It's like minimal, clean, nice and rounded, kind of React looking, but it's like, I've seen people do this in a way that looks like it's vibe coded. This is an absolute great use of CSS. This looks great. And the button hover is great too. So your design is already, you said it's your girlfriend. I don't know if you're just trying to shield yourself from, I don't know, maybe it is. I don't want to make any assumptions. But yeah, this looks amazing. So, okay, so you've got basically an interactive box. I've got Vimium, the extension here, so it might be hard for me to type, but is this controllable? It doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's, oh, maybe it's backwards controllable. Okay, maybe it's not. I don't know. That is slightly confusing to me. I expected this to be an editable field. Yeah, looks solid. All right, and makes SVGs effortless. Design, draw, animate everything in one file. No extra CSS or scripts. Write once, get ready to use in code, and okay, all of this stuff. So I guess I'll try now. Oh, here we go. Here's the playground. Yeah, maybe a small piece of feedback is just make if you can embed this same playground on that website or on the homepage. I was a little confused by that, but honestly, not a big deal. Okay, source compiles instantly to SVG output. Okay, so can we change the color here? Do you have IntelliSense? Green. Okay, that's cool. And we can do 100. I'm not like crazy. I don't know exactly. Oh, it's a DSL. Okay, domain-specific language for anyone who doesn't. I'm pretty sure with, like, a DSL, you could also consider React a DSL because it's like any library or whatever that kind of. I don't know. Any library that exports or has like a very specific API that's kind of taking over the language a little bit. Yeah, like Svelte is a DSL, I guess. So this is really interesting. It would take me a little while to learn the DSL, but I would totally do this for making, because you've got cool animated things that I guess could turn into some kind of GIF. You've got a playground. This looks largely the same. Oh, but I guess I was already there, and that's the home page. Okay, got you. And then the docs look great as well. Yeah. Oh, well, there's a slight visual bug, I think, with this. Could just be the Firefox rendering. Yeah, if you don't know, it's good to try all modern browsers. I don't want to assume that's like how that mistake was made. Obviously, you seem, or your girlfriend seems like a very capable dev here, but yeah, this looks like a great project, honestly. And even if it doesn't take off in a way that's like, I don't know, it's like a big business. I don't know where you are in your career if you need resume projects, but this is fantastic. This is great development right here. This is really, really well done. Okay, ZP. Okay. I don't know much. My girlfriend made it, and I don't know how much about coding, the docs and syntax and all. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is really, really well done. Good looking website, actually practical tool, and yeah, I'll actually bookmark this. I've been doing kind of a idea recently. I'd be interested to hear what people think about this, where I'm sponsoring people, but like I don't take sponsors on principle. I will never exchange money for a service that I don't believe in. I might do it for like a local sock company, but that's about it. So instead, I want to do sponsorships where I just give shout outs to random people's side projects and things. I have one video that came out today where I did that, but I'm going to do that in the future too. And you guys can always skip over that, but I want to just drop shout outs to like niche underground tools and people's side projects just so you guys can get, like, it's kind of unfair that I get all this publicity, you know, and like I have a lot of job offers from doing this. There's a lot of other really cracked people out there that just aren't in front of an audience yet. So getting other people's audience, getting other people a bit of an audience, you know. Everyone should go check this out, bookmark it. It's open source too. Wow. In Canada. Awesome. Really, really well done. Everyone should give that a star. Help promote this. TypeScript, that is really, really well done. That is a great piece of software. I wonder what they used for the front end. I guess... oh wow, yeah, you have your own DSL completely in TypeScript. That is really impressive. To your girlfriend. What did you use for... That's the package should show dependencies. Dependencies, TSX and TypeScript, pure TypeScript app. Really, really well done. I don't know if that's... I guess this is maybe an embedded thing for the actual stuff, and then there's a website that's maybe in Svelte. Oh, in Astro. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, really well done project. And yeah, go star that if you've got 3 seconds and just help out someone with a cool project. I think this person really deserves it. You could do a weekly vid just for shoutouts instead of giving it in every video. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all, actually. I think one thing that is nice about it, like I can just put it at the end of every video and timestamp it so that like I could submit it myself to sponsor block if you guys really don't care about my random recommendations, because I'm absolutely not the type, like I'm the type of guy who would take an inadvertent sponsor from like uBlock Origin. Like I'll tell you to block ads in my videos. Like you should not be wasting your time watching ads. You should not be wasting your time watching me talk about something you don't care about. I would only make these sponsorships towards things that I like actually care about, and you could completely skip over them. Like that's all that would be the idea of it. So you would never have to watch anything you don't want to, but I think it would help certain people. And I would try to pick things that like also it's not just we're all like as a community being like, oh, that guy is nice, let's pick his project and like throw stars at it and help. I'd pick things like that I think could actually help other people as well as the project owner. You know, like this is a thing. I think this is a really great DSL for writing animated SVGs. Like it just compiles. It's like a SVG version of Typst for really custom things. You could use this in your projects totally. This isn't just like, oh cool, I made this for just because I could. So yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, self-submitting would put you in the Based YouTuber Hall of Fame. Thanks. How old are you? I'm 20. I say it in several different videos. Yeah, you can actually, email me. I get a lot of emails now, so it's hard to respond to them all, but I will try to eventually put you in a queue to get some kind of shout out, some free sponsorship. But I am going to have like certain standards. Like if it's your random React side project or portfolio website, like I will not do this for things that I don't legitimately care about, or else like an inadvertent sponsorship kind of loses all of its merit. You know what I mean? It's not useful at all if I'm using bad projects just because I feel bad for, or like I want to support someone who's early on in their career. What I can do is maybe give you a roast on stream and like give you feedback on how to improve until you're like at a level where I'll accept you into this, but I want to keep this very high effort, you know? let's see. She has put effort into it and very hard working, and it's not just me being biased. Yeah, you're totally right, ZP. Yes. I can totally see from this one. I've looked at a lot of projects. I can tell when something is high effort. This represents many, many hours of not just high ability, but like strong thinking as well. What about one good sponsor versus ripping on a React project? That would be really funny, you know, instead of just like, because sponsors are always glazing like, oh, I used this for so many years, you know, and it's like, come on, dude. Like, but I think it would be funny because they're not paying me anything and I have freedom of speech. I just like pick some random project and absolutely dunk on it, just shit on their entire code base for like 3 minutes straight. So that's a good way to bring in roasting. Like, this project is horrible, and then yeah, I feel like that might get me in hot water with some people. I don't want to make a ton of enemies doing that, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, how brutal and honest my reviews are. I appreciate that. I want to do similar things for not just people's developer portfolios, because I think that could get boring, but other software that's like big and corporate. Hold on, I really have to. Oh my god. Yeah, like my university's website I roasted back in the day. I think not a lot of people found that because I wasn't harsh enough, and it was back in the early days, but I'd like to find websites that are like big and corporate and just absolutely trash on them, because there's so many that are like embarrassing for how much money the company has. For instance, like my car's operating system for like display system for music and maps and stuff is like, you guys are $1 billion company and you built this shitty interface. This is just unacceptable. And there's so many like things about it that are unacceptable. Like, I could just talk about how bad it is for actually hours. You gotta roast. Oh, what's up, Tony? By the way, another YouTuber in the chat. How's it going? Oh, that was so streamer. God damn, this corrupts you. Roast Rust rewrites of things that are already working fast. Yeah, that is something funny. I don't really mind Rust rewrites of projects that are a little bit out there, but like Rust rewrites of LS or like PWD or like, dude, seriously, that go focus your time on something else. I guess if it's just like a learning project, that's cool to understand how core utils work, but don't like put that on GitHub and like start spamming press for it just because it's like you think it's like a cool new breakthrough in computing, and it's just like not especially. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I built that site. Let's see. What else is going on in chat? I kind of want to look at the GitHub issues. I haven't looked at that in a while for this Quickfix list. Oh, I did not mean to create another issue. Quickfix list toggle, okay. Command C sort call set. Okay, so this looks like Vim script, so I'd have to adapt this a little bit or just put it in a Vim command. I don't know if this is the syntax for auto command. Vim script I'm a little out of date with. Set quickfix list sort get quickfix list, and then you pass in, this looks like a lambda, AB, and then A at buff number. So I guess this is some kind of dictionary object. The quickfix list is like an array of dictionaries. So we're taking A and B into this sort function with the get quickfix list, and then each A and B, we're comparing them on the buff number. Oh, this is a ternary operator maybe. And then the line number of A minus the line number of B, else the line number of A minus the line number of B. Oh, okay, I see. So basically this is a command for, oh, you're defining a user command called csort, which just sorts the quickfix list by line numbers. That's a quite interesting idea. I won't implement that right away, but I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And yeah, that's some nice tight Vim script. You don't see that so much anymore. Where do you get your tech news? I actually don't really watch or consume any tech news. It used to be Fireship primarily, but I honestly am not. I don't really care about what he has to say anymore. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like, and I can't make myself care about Omarky either. Like, I like DHH. He's obviously a very intelligent programmer, but sometimes, oh, thank you for the donation, Tony. I'll probably donate to you on another stream, so we're just sending money around to see the Jake animation, but I appreciate that. Yeah. You stayed in your portfolio vid to make Rust rewrites, literally lol. Did I? I don't know if I did. That doesn't sound like me. Do you do leet code? That's a good question. I want to start doing more leet code because I don't know where I'll end up. Right now I'm basically in the best situation I can be. Like I'm at a small startup that I don't want to talk a lot about just for privacy. But I basically found a mentor there who's like me, but like 20 years down the line, and not just like a mentor in terms of programming. Like he's like a very wise philosopher type guy, which is basically the most ideal situation I could possibly find myself in. It's like at this stage in my life, having a mentor who's just insanely cracked is what I want most of all. But I do have a couple of not full offers, but people who would willingly get me interviews at like big fan companies. I don't want to drop the exact fan company, but there's a couple of them. So if I wanted to go there just for the experience, maybe in a couple of years after this mentorship is like fully, I don't know how long I can absorb information from this ancient, he's not actually old at all, just like super wise mentor, and I want to head over to Google or any of the other companies, any of the other big fan companies. I do have ins at some of them. So then I would start grinding leet code, and I'd probably do leet code just to kill two birds with one stone. I'd do it in Haskell or OCaml or something interesting. I'm not sure what they support officially on the website, but I don't know. I think that would be really funny to pull up as a math major and start doing some crazy, yeah. I'm not all that good at leet code. I don't know. I've done some. I think Jake and I might at some point stream trying to figure out leet code live, because I think it's good to be humbled live, and like I'm flexing all my Vim commands and Vim script knowledge, but I'm not actually that good at algorithmic programming, so we'd just be absolutely struggling together to solve easy problems, which, I don't know, could be good for beginners. Let's see. Tips for programming, especially for beginners. I don't know, it's such like a big area. Like, I don't really believe in like those kind of, even though I make these videos myself, like here's 10 tips to get better, here's 10 tips to become the best programmer possible. I really believe it's kind of, you will come to these realizations by yourself. There is no like 10 tips that work for anyone, because there's a slightly different path that everyone can take. And as a beginner, I think some of the best like groundwork advice I can lay down is you should really follow tutorials closely in the beginning. Just do a lot of tutorials, because they'll give you the easiest path, I think, right off the bat, like to learning syntax and making projects all the way through. And it doesn't matter that it's not your own thing. Just go look up in whatever field you want, how to make a game, how to what. And there's different certain tutorials are better than others, so there's variance in that, but find someone you like, follow like 5 or 6 of their tutorials all the way through, and then start going off on your own, and I think you'll have good success there. But really it's just like an ever-changing journey, and sometimes things work for you and sometimes they don't. Sometimes tutorials work, sometimes Googling things, sometimes a little bit of AI, but not always. And it's like, it's different for everyone. There is no main like, here are the 5 tips to success for software engineering. It's kind of a winding path that you find yourself. But yeah, keep looking to others. That'll do you well. Like, just because it's a path you kind of discover yourself, keep absorbing information, keep asking people what the way is, and kind of try to follow in people's footsteps that you respect. I think that's a good idea. Let's see. A lot of chat went by while I was answering that. What are all the languages you know? That's a great question, actually. And I would say, like, I know of a lot of languages. Know well. I'd say I could list my top 5 languages, or I don't know, top X amount. I would say I'm the best at Typst right now. I'm all right at C++, all right at Rust. I'm pretty good at TypeScript. That might be my second strongest language. I know CSS quite well. I guess those are the main like design languages, the main things I build stuff in. I'm pretty familiar with Python, also pretty familiar with Lua. I've done some Ruby, so I know that. I'm a lot less good at functional languages, but I understand a lot of functional ideas, I think, from reading Tamaka Mockingbird that other people like. There's kind of levels of functional programming. There's like some people say, and I don't want to sound like a noob here, so I'm not going to make any big claims, but like when you first experience functional programming and it's like passing a lambda function to some kind of iterator or some kind of dot filter dot map, people are like, holy shit, I'm a functional programmer. But it gets way more complicated than that. Like there are concepts beyond that. Like there's I guess folding into an object is a little more common, but then you've got like combinators, and there are a lot more functional things that I've heard of and I think I kind of understand, but the syntax for Haskell has really put me off in the past. So I want to at some point get into, I don't know, I was watching a TS coding tutorial. Someone asked me about this before. He's like a little bit rambly, and it's pretty dense and sometimes a little hard to watch, but has absolutely the best tutorials on that. My friend Ethan Nizer, yeah, if anyone knows him, that's a collaboration or an unlikely connection in tech YouTube. He's big on the effect TypeScript library. He put me onto that TS coding video, and it just blew my mind. Like there are things in Haskell that are like, and I guess TypeScript too, is like recursively defining an enum is like just, whoa, that is mind-blowingly smart to me. Yeah, Ethan Nizer, I want to go back. I want to go more into functional TypeScript and yeah, that kind of stuff. I think that's interesting. But back to the languages, I think that's pretty much it. But I don't know. I've done lots of stuff. I would say I'm quite good at Godot as well. I don't know. I'm a beginner at Godot, really. I don't know that much GD script. C# I know a bit of. I think a lot of the languages I know are also like more like frameworks, and you could argue, oh, those aren't programming languages, but I would say Svelte and React are basically programming languages because they take up so much of the language's syntax and they change its design patterns so much. Like React is effectively a different language than writing JavaScript. JavaScript is almost like an embedded language of React, if you think about it. So I would also say I'm quite good at front end frameworks. Like I know I've used most of them at some point or another. Well, not really Angular. I've done like a good amount of Vue, a good amount of, well, no, I haven't done that much Vue. I think the biggest ones for me are React, Svelte, and like Solid. But I would consider Solid basically just the same thing as React with slightly different syntax. But yeah, front end frameworks I've done a lot of. I've done a lot of like OpenGL, GLSL, and shaders. So that's kind of a language in itself, like shader language, and the OpenGL framework is so big and expansive, it's practically like knowing another language. But yeah, all right. Sylvan Franklin, we heard about the sensor in MacBooks that records the exact angle of the screen hinge. That is really interesting. That seems like great spyware, but it also seems like if I can tap into that, it would be pretty interesting. Would you recommend Tamaka Mockingbird? I would. I think for combinatorial logic, it's great. It is quite dense. If you don't have a background in math, you can get absolutely blown away. At the beginning of it is a lot of puzzles that aren't really combinatorial logic, so people kind of dismiss them. I think a lot of people that are really smart just skip the beginning of the book, but my friends and I got such a kick out of reading it. It's like just ridiculous little puzzles where you've got like, you know, two twins, one always lies, one always tells the truth. You can ask one question, but you can't use these certain words, and it's like a bunch of puzzles like that. And yeah, you get a couple drinks in you, and you're like desperately trying to figure out how he came up with this simple little trick. I think it's pretty cool. Or there's one like, there's a bunch of barber problems. There was one that's like, there's one shave club where whenever like one barber shaves a person, they all shave that person. And then it's like, is it possible for one person to shave another without themselves being I don't know. It's some combination of like weird things acting upon each other. It's representative, like more complicated math, but it's kind of concealed behind funny little puzzles. So yeah, that book is really cool. I would recommend giving it a try. It's free. You can get it really easily online. Write a script to use the MacBook hinge as volume control. That is really funny. That is really funny, actually. I'd be interested in that, but like anything that kind of taps into the Mac specific stuff, I'd have to use Swift, and I really, well, I don't know. They might expose like a low C library that the Swift library draws upon, but I don't know how that old world works actually. Oh, I would say I'm also decent at Swift. Like I know Swift UI, I can make mobile apps if it comes down to it, and I guess I can use React Native as well pretty well, and also the Towery application for Rust desktop apps. I'll just think of more things as I go probably because there's a lot of random side projects that I don't know turned into to other things. Um, why are you not learning? Why are you learning OpenGL and not something modern? That is a very good question, and it's because just in school that's what they gave us. They gave us just an OpenGL textbook, and the reason for that is sometimes it's not best to go to. I mean, it's nice to go to the modern equivalents, you know? Like, they have a lot of convenience to them. A great example is the Rust Cargo Package Manager is really nice compared to, like, C package management, where you have to work on how things actually build and link themselves. And that's great. It's, like, it's sweeping a lot of complexity under the rug so you can figure out other things. But if you want to be, like, a really the best developer you can, sometimes it's better to not sweep that complexity under the rug and just, yeah, to kind of expose yourself to the lowest levels of certain things. Like OpenGL, for instance. Oh, and someone pointed out HTML, CSS. Yeah, is a great example. OpenGL, like, may be a little bit clunky, it may be annoying, but you have to understand the entire rendering process and, like, how does stuff in the CPU interact with the GPU, and how do you batch draw calls, and, like, how does the computer at the lowest level actually make drawing happen, and how does all the, like, linear algebra and vector math go down to make rendering stuff. And you could make a really cool game pretty quickly, I think, in something like Raylib, or I don't know, Bevy is another game engine I've used a lot, or I don't know, some other library that can handle this stuff. And if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do is make games, that's totally fine. Like, you don't have to understand the lowest levels of rendering techniques. But OpenGL, just for me, as annoying and, like, sluggish and clunky it is, it's like having the sharpest knife possible. Your control is basically limitless down to the smallest intricacies, and it really does, it gives you really a lot of respect and understanding for how all apps are rendered. One thing that kind of blows my mind is every app you're looking at, the screen you're looking at right now, is actually three-dimensional. Like, it's in 3D space. It's just this screen is floating, like, directly on your camera's frustum, like, plane. You know, I don't know if that's the right term. But you could just pull this back and rotate it, and you'd be in, like, 3D space. Your whole operating system is in 3D space right now. It's just all cleverly put together with perspective so that it looks like you're looking at a 2D thing. But rendering by default supports that. And not all of it. That's a big generalization. Like, there's other techniques like rasterization that can do things that aren't in 3D. But a lot of stuff built by OpenGL, which is a ton of applications, a ton of things are built on it, and Vulkan as well. You're kind of just looking at a 2D view of a 3D world, which is honestly mind-blowing. Yeah. How do you deal? Okay, there's a lot of questions. I'm sorry I can't get to all of this. Oh, what's up, Jake Pappas from the Ben and Jerry's factory? True Vermonter. And Tokisuno, glad to have you here. This is another YouTuber. Similar kind of niche. Let's see. Someone asked about auto formatting, and yeah, maybe I was completely wrong about that 3D perspective thing. I don't know, but that's how I understand it. Like, we can't, when we render things for our Raymarcher project, which I could pull up real quick actually, if I just make, oops, and dot slash, oh, I'm not in the build. I really need a kind of preset macro for this. So that should compile all up, and then we'll get our Raymarcher. This basically, if you don't know, this looks 3D, but there's a very clever illusion going on here. A lot of people understand kind of that you can, that all rendering is triangles, right? That's the most fundamental shape that everything is controlled by. This looks ridiculous right now, but it's like a 3D fractal. And we have to tweak our parameters on this. But basically, yeah, it looks 3D, right? This totally looks like it's a completely 3D app, but it's not. It's actually only two triangles. There's one triangle that goes, I don't know if I can represent it well. It's like this, you know? So there's one triangle in one corner, or let me actually, do I have a pen around here that I can draw with? Oh yeah, I do. So this'll show it clearly. So basically, the entire screen here is only 2 draw calls. We've got, basically, it looks like this. So like the entire screen is 2 triangles that just cover everything with a texture that's changing programmatically on the fly, which just blew my mind. So the GPU is doing basically, I mean, it's doing a lot of work for each of those texture pixels, and it's all parallelized on my GPU, but it's really amazing. That's not 3D at all. It's just 2D, and it's a complete illusion. I guess that's obvious to anyone who knows about 3D rendering, but it's like, that's only 2 triangles right there. We're not rendering triangles in space. Yeah, maybe that's completely confusing. I don't know. Someone asked about auto formatting and Vim. So that's a great question. So a lot of people like auto formatting, and that's just like when you save, you want your document to format. Here's a bunch of reasons why you shouldn't run auto formatting on save. First of all, if you're ever working on an open source project, they'll have different style guides most likely than you. Depends on what, but there's so many different standards across different things, and your personal editor config will mess with things. And sometimes you just want to go into an open source project, make a tweak, and then change like one variable, and then you hit save because you want to like commit that and push it to them. And then boom, like your entire project now is formatted by your auto formatter, and then you're like, fuck, how do I have to undo that? So that's why I'm a huge proponent of decoupling. So you have just write the document, and then I have format. So this is just liter LF for language format. I was a Lunar Vim user, so yeah, shout out anyone who knows the LF binding for language format. So liter LF will format, and I could do hot tip, Control T in insert mode to tab indent and Control D to unindent, so you don't have to go like this in normal mode. And then you just liter LF and it snaps it back into place. Having them decoupled is just really nice because you can also kind of use language formatting as some kind of motion. Sometimes I don't want to write things. It's just like all of this is messed up. Like let's say I GV to reselect, and then I like left align. Oops, obviously that's left. I right align all this text. It's almost like a motion, like I want to be on map, then I can do liter LF and it'll bring map to my cursor. So it's like a weird custom motion, and I prefer it like that. I prefer the decouple than an autosave because it's really inconvenient when something saves. It's kind of like driving a manual car, and it's like also kind of like in the spirit of using Vim. You don't want to have all your functionality bundled so that you can't take it apart. You kind of want to be able to do things separately, and you could set something up that's like one key map for write and then format, one key map for format, one key map for write. But I just got really used to liter W for write, liter LF for format, and I spam liter LF all the time because it's like really satisfying to see your code get fixed, and I don't necessarily want to write. Yeah, just turn it off. Okay. Auto formatting is for nerds. I mean, all of this is for nerds, man. Like, what do you? I mean, I'm using Vim at like. Yeah, exactly. It's really annoying when you're contributing to something. So one other thing you can do is there's like a lot of editor configs. Like I think for Lua, it's maybe get ignored in my. It's maybe in my nvim directory. No, here we go. Lua rc.json. There's like a Lua format thing that you can do, and there's also other files. Like there's one called clang format for C++, and you can kind of define like how much indent and whatever you use, but it's just really annoying. Sometimes you just don't want to auto format at all, so that's why I have it decoupled. And if you want to know how I'm getting that, there were historically a lot of plugins, I think, for formatting, for figuring out how to like what formatter to use. But now, like, there's so much work done on it, it kind of just is created by itself. Like, I think through the LSP, a lot of formatters are supported. So in my LSP, I'm not programming in a ton of different languages right now, but all of these ones just have formatters built in, and even weird ones like GLSL Analyzer just has a formatter built in. And then as soon as you just like vim.lsp.enable, yeah, you call this, it sets up your formatter for you, and all you have to call is vim.lsp.buff.format, and it just handles everything. No need to like install differently. So that's just, I don't know, that's my opinion on formatting. I don't believe in auto formatters. I believe in manual formatting. How are you 20 and knowing so many languages? Depressed knowing this. Well, one thing I will say that I've realized recently, just focus not so much on who knows what at what age and more your trajectory and your potential. You know, the fact that you know that I know a lot of languages and you know that I have some ability and you want that too is already such a big advantage over the average person. Imagine how many millions, dude, are like sitting there just watching whatever Rick and Morty or any other like kind of show that's not getting them towards more productivity. You're on a productivity stream. Like, that's awesome. Be glad you have that insight. And it's all like on a time factor. You know, I may be 6 months to a year ahead of you in terms of programming projects and ability because I kind of just got lucky in my circumstances. But since you have the clearness of vision to see what you want, that's already something to be so thankful for. You're so ahead of so many people. And don't worry about exactly where I am at what time and where you are at what time. It's like you have the trajectory. You know what you want to do. That's already awesome. And the time, once it goes by, once you like do more projects and stuff, you'll look back and you'll think like, oh, why was I ever worried about that? It was just like a slight difference in timeline, you know, and we're going to both die. We're going to be 75 years old and I'm just going to be, I don't know, like playing random board games and stuff and kicking about. It's like those extra years in your life really did not matter all that much. It feels like it in the moment because it's like a rat race to get the jobs and stuff by what age and who knows what by what age. If I went and looked for people, I could find way more people that are better than me. Like I could just go to MIT and there's all these like 15-year-olds that know every language ever, you know, and it's like I don't worry so much about those people because it's just a reality of life that everyone will know different things. The fact that you're on this trajectory is just pretty amazing already, I think. Yeah. LSP is a nightmare language. A lot of people like say I should ditch LSP and just use compiler warnings, and there's totally something to that. Yeah. Don't rush yourself. Career under 20, Forbes under 30, death under 40. Yeah, you do not need to rush through life. And I'm trying to work on that too because I spend all my time working and it's like I'm in college. I should go and experience the college life because I can work outside of college for the next 60 years, you know, but I can only interact with hundreds of people my own age with similar-ish interests in this little time frame. So I'm trying to take advantage of that more. Let's see. Compassion will get you nowhere. Oh, comparison will get you. I was going to say compassion usually does get you somewhere. Yeah, but also that's a great point, Tokisuno, but comparison is also, I think, valuable in some ways because you don't want to like be comparing yourself. Well, you kind of do on the one hand. Like you want to compare yourself to someone who you respect because you want to get better. You want some target to kind of shoot for, but don't make it obsessively like, oh, they're better than me in any way. Make it like, am I following in the same footsteps to get to that place? And same thing with comparing yourself to people that are worse than you. It's a bad habit to do that. Obviously, that's like a total ego thing. Like, oh, none of these people know nearly as much as I do. You know, they're all terrible. That's bad for the most part, but it also has its place. I would say it's important to do that like maybe 5% of the time because you can easily get swamped in feeling like looking at, if you go on YouTube and just find your role models, whoever crazy programmer it is, and then you're like, oh, I know nothing. They know so much more than me. That can like kind of eat away at you if you're trying to shoot for that target. So every once in a while, I like to just think like, that guy is sitting on his couch and like doing, those guys are just out there like awkwardly mingling around in like a lame party listening to the same 2016 pop tunes, and I'm like out here building my career, you know? So just to make yourself not feel kind of depressed about your progress all the time, sometimes it's okay to like let your ego out a little bit and just like realize that you are on a good trajectory for people your age or whoever you want to compare yourself to and be better than. Do it like once in a while, but both sides are bad. You don't want to be constantly doing that or you'll be bitter, like a bitter asshole no one wants to hang out with at all. But if you only compare yourself to your role models, then you'll be just like crushed. You'll be like, oh, I suck. And then I think it's a balancing act. Yeah. Yeah, you have to stay humbled, not stay humble. Yeah, good distinction. It's a mix of, um, let's see. I think it's less of using the person, but the aspects and ideas you see of the person and separating it. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at talking to people that are completely different than me because it is an important skill. And I don't know. Let's see. Another great example, this is, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but you might compare yourself to your parents on certain aspects. Like, were my parents doing the same thing I was at this age? And a lot of the times, it's quite a different story. Like, I know a lot of people, kind of like myself, that come to, you find like philosophy or introspective thinking or like the self improvement grind way earlier in your life than your parents ever did, just because of the way the internet kind of raised you. And then you can kind of get a big head like, oh, my parents don't know anything about how the internet works, or they kind of scammed by Google search results being fake, or like they don't know how, yeah, XYZ thing works, so I'm like more capable than them. But it's all kind of a different, I don't know, it's a different race. Because then you go and compare your parents. Okay, they had no internet, but that means they were talking to people, making interesting social connections, and partying all the time. Maybe I don't know what it was for your parents, but maybe they're just really good at communicating with people. So like, yes, you're ahead of them in one aspect, but they're ahead of you in another aspect. So that's, I don't know. Someone told me that recently. I found that pretty mind blowing. Like, you can always compare yourself to someone on one thing, but they often have taken a different path than you, and that's given them some abilities in another thing. Congratulations, you were distracted. I don't know. I don't know if that would be distracting me, because I'm kind of here on purpose to distract myself. What do you think of Coding Jesus? I know of him. I don't watch a ton of YouTube, though. Let's see. The breadcrumbs upside down forehead is forever regret. Please forgive my brother. Plus plus plus. Are you interested in holding on to gifts from Far East? Keep coding. Gifts from Far East. I agree. Being humble. I'm not exactly sure what you are saying. Yeah, that's a confusingly worded message, man. But I appreciate the support. Let's see. My father at my age was in the military and compulsory conscription. He was told it was 2 years of his life completely wasted. Now I'm glad I can spend the time doing better things. Yeah, exactly. Like, but your parents are often really capable and intelligent people. I find at least a lot of you guys, you don't tend to be like successful. You don't tend to be interested in like working hard and stuff if your parents aren't also, they don't have to be successful, but they're just like good driven people. So you're often kind of following slightly similar footsteps. Let's see. Yeah, I could see Coding Jesus being kind of a grift guy. Like, I never really got into the pirate software drama, and I don't even want to talk about that because it's so like internet and overdone, and who cares? Like, who gives a fuck? This guy was just egotistical and he fell for it. That's enough said. I think he was a little bit farming that, and I can see him being kind of a content farmer, which is okay. Some people just have to make a living doing that, but beware when someone's content becomes mixed up in their profits, because that will inevitably change them in certain ways. I think that's an advantage I have. I'm not greedy, and I work another job that pays the bills, so I can do this and be kind of completely unbiased towards things like that. You don't watch a lot of YouTube, but you are a YouTuber. How do you see this? That's an interesting. I don't know. I watched a lot more YouTube than I did in the past. I was kind of finally able to quit it. I don't know about a lot of you, but a lot of productivity people like kind of have a love-hate relationship with YouTube. Where for me, it was, I needed it for tutorials. I needed it for learning, but at the same time, it wasted so much of my time. And now I'm finding that even if there are great tutorials on YouTube, it's better for me to completely steer clear of it altogether so that I don't get pulled into things I don't care about. For instance, like, I don't know, there's multiple ways to skin a cat when learning a programming project. And for me, I found that I can just like read documentation and read like guides, and if I'm reading, I won't get pulled into YouTube nearly as often. So I found that just a better way to do things. Even though YouTube does have some great content on it, like you obviously shouldn't just completely block everything out. There's still a few YouTubers that I have like basically all of YouTube blocked, and then I'll come back to it once in a while and try to find just like videos from the people that I respect still. And I just block my whole homepage. And I know there's other stuff out there, but at this point, now that I have a YouTube channel, I'm counting on if there's something really cool, really interesting going on with another YouTuber, people will send it to me, so I won't have to find it myself. Yeah. Looks like we got some neighbors yelling about something out there. Classic college. How do you keep yourself exposed to new things, or in general in tech? How do you get to know more stuff? I would say just making projects is the biggest thing. I don't like to give this advice because it's so cliche and you can get it from anywhere else. But if you make projects and you try to do research as to what's kind of new and what's exciting, say you want to make a desktop app, look into like Towery or some other kind of more bleeding edge solution. Or if you just want to make a working desktop app, just go do Electron, and that would expose you to that. It depends on what you want to do, really. Unhook browser extension is goated for YouTube. Yeah. Block all the algorithms and distractions. Unhook is great. Yeah. And it looks like Tokisu now has another recommendation. There are lots of things. I hate to do this. It's like self-sabotage, in a way, but I'm like, stop watching. Tell people to stop watching me, stop watching YouTube, go do your own projects. It'll get you farther. And that would destroy my audience. But I'm hoping that by acknowledging that enough, like maybe you'll stop watching YouTube as much, but you'll still come back to me once in a while, just because I was the one who said this. Like I acknowledge that I'm kind of content farming a lot of you here. Like I make money off of this, and it's like great for me, and you get stuff back too. You get my opinions and information, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how worth it is to watch everything I put out. I mean, if it's helping you, keep doing it. But yeah, working on your own projects will get you much farther. But yeah, maybe come back one day. But use uBlock Origin on me. Use Sponsor Block. Use everything. I don't take sponsors, but yeah, just don't let me make money off of you. Don't ever let that happen. If I ever sell a course, it's gonna be free. I think. Like I hate to say that because it restricts future monetization completely. But I really believe that I need to separate my income stream from my creative outlet, or else it'll just get tainted and it'll become bad. It'll become mainstream. So if I ever sell a course, just please do not buy it. I'll try my best to not sell a course. If I make courses, it'll just be like on YouTube completely for free, because I just don't believe in. I think, here's my opinion on being monetized. Like, I'm going to do much better in life having this attitude with this group of people than I ever would making a course. So say I make like a Svelte or Typst full course and I sell it for $20, even if it does really well and a few thousand people buy it, and I've made a good chunk of money from that. I think it would be much better if I made this all free and I expressed this opinion freely and I said, I want to set that aside because I believe I can help a lot more people by not making this a paid course. I believe I can get a lot more exposure to it. And then one of those people maybe one day, has like a big startup or has something and is like, hey, you really helped me out back in the day, man. And I appreciate that. And I'll bring you on board to my company. I just believe in like creating lucky opportunities for everyone around me and then following in their footsteps when they become more successful than me one day at something. That's kind of the idea of how I'll make money. It's not going to be through like squeezing drops of money out of all of you. It's going to be squeezing drops of money out of the big successful people that can maybe come out of collaborations from this or whatever. I do make money from YouTube, especially that roasting video made a good amount of money. I have like $1,000 in profit this quarter, and all this really does is just helps pay my bills. Like I'm not doing anything extravagant with it. My rent here is about $13.75, so that's a good amount of my rent this month. And I do have a job, but obviously I want to like save for the future, like I do want financial stability in case something dries up for me. So I do want extra income I can be saving, and I'm obviously not in school right now, so I do want to save for expenses like that. But as long as I can just keep meeting my like grocery and housing needs, and then save a little bit of money towards the future, I'm completely happy. I don't need gobs and gobs and gobs of money. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that, really. Have you ever had your IQ tested? I have not. No. I'm a little worried too because, like, I don't know, I would do that kind of thing with my friends and then it would turn into a competition. Um, yeah, yeah. I've literally made only $100. Tokisino, one thing I will say is a lot of you use ad blockers, which absolutely eats into your profit viciously. And I think the reason is that one 100K video had a lot of people that are kind of more don't know about ad blockers, maybe are still using Chrome and ad blockers are blocked. So I think that helped a lot. It's like most of the videos that have my core audience, I bake almost nothing off, and I'm completely okay with that. It's just like the big videos that kind of blow up a little bit is where most of the profit comes from, and I'm very grateful and happy about that. That I can even make enough money to chip away at my rent, but I don't really need that much money, to be honest. Like, my job pays me really, really well, like more than I think it should, given that I'm like just like a person in training. But I'm completely fine financially. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm not on the street, and so I don't want to squeeze profit out of everyone. Why is Vim better than other IDEs? That's a great question. I would say it's because it's so customizable. It's maybe the most customizable editor except for Emacs. I think actually it's probably tied for Emacs now because Lua is so configurable, but basically just lets you set up things however way you want them. And I don't have anything crazy on that, but it just makes it so that your editing experience is really quite nice. So if I jump over to my, I don't know, here's some examples, like Ray Marching project, and I go to the default fragment shader. I have like a binding set up if I go back to my config called leader B, I think. Well, and this basically just, okay, that deletes buffers. But what I wanted to show is I have one that swaps buffers. I have a little plugin that jumps pairs. So I have this fragment shader, this vertex shader. I could just do leader B to jump between them. And then I also have a similar one. Looks like it's lagging a little bit for some reason. I gotta fix that. But if I have any kind of, like I have this engine.c++, and then I can jump between the two of them. It's like even that little nice setup thing. And then once you understand all the low-level editing stuff, like, man, these keys, this key casting thing is really annoying me. Can I put it above myself like that? Okay. So yeah, what if like you want to go and you want to look at some implementation of something? So I'm over here and I'm in my whatever, and I want to look at the set shader like init VAO function, and then I can just control bracket and like jump to it. And then you've got like document symbols, and you've got, I don't know, you can use the Quickfix list, and now I have different bindings for that. So I'm up here and I'm like, oh, I want to jump to the draw method, you know, and I do leader 3. No errors. Okay, well, this is not the Quickfix list, it's location list, I guess. But I don't know, I hope you get the idea, and you can search for things and like create your own location list. So let's say I want set shader. Oh, actually, wait, I'm just doing straight nonsense. There was some configuration thing I wanted. So if someone, I'll create a GitHub issue for this. I need basically, and this is really dumb, this is probably a 2-minute docs read check, but I need like a live grep thing. So I have this find files with minipick, and that's nice, but I need to grep text, and I know you can do that with Vim greps. You can do Vim, it's short for Vim grep, but you can just do Vim, and then you can like, I think, specify a string. So let's do Lua ls, and it'll find it in this file, but let's do something that'll find it in another file. So let's see, let's search expand. So I can do Vim expand, I think, and then pass in like this for the entire path. And then it'll allow me to like, oh shoot, it found it in all my site packages for gcloud. I actually don't want to show that just in case it's like, that is something for my job. I don't want to drop any config or anything. But yeah, basically that's the idea. I want like grep. I want to be able to find things with this menu because Vim grep is a little awkward for me. So if mini pick, I don't know, maybe we can find this. Mini pick actions. Do they have a grep? Oh, minipic built-in.grep live. Okay, so that was easy. I don't even need a thing. So, oops. Let's go back to the RC and then set up a keybind. Where's find files? Leader F. Okay, minipic files. So if we copy this, is it just pick live grep? Live underscore, oh, grep live. Pick grep underscore live, and then let's make that G and then source that. So now I should be able to, let me do this in a non-sensitive directory without gcloud. If I do grep for engine, okay, beautiful. And then also another great thing about this is if we grep for, let's say like just vector, like vector, I think there's a way, I always forget, but to like mark things, is it Control T? No, that opens it in a tab. So a great thing about minipic, and how do I close this tab? Tab C, okay. You can like add, you can open things in multiple ways. So let's say I've got this image draw, and then I do Control V, it opens in a vertical split, and then that opens in a horizontal split. And I know you can do this in Telescope, but I just think it's pretty awesome. Oh, Control H, or maybe it's Control S. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Sorry, I got like autistically interested in that for a second. There's another binding for marking things, so let's see. I have it set up in where I require pick or mini dot pick. I don't know, I set it up somewhere. There's a way to like mini pick mark, actions mark. I don't know what the default is for this. There's some way to see the default. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, no, maybe not, that's pasting. There's a way to like mark these and then add them to a Quickfix buffer. If someone knows, could you drop it in chat? Because I don't remember, but there's a way that you can like search with this and then add it to your Quickfix lists. So I have like modes and then I go Control X maybe. Okay, that's it. And then I search for something else like this, Control X, and then let's search for one more thing like the tmuxconf, and then Control X, and then is it Control G to open it? There's a way to send it to the Quickfix list, which I really should know how to do better. Oh, okay, I see you, M0T. What's microbrew? Can't find anything about it. This is absolutely just a thing I set up to troll people completely. You know how I love rage bait or engagement bait. So I wrote this little thing, microbrew, and all it is, if we go to the directory, is a Rust project that just prints out something. And I just made like a really fast looking package manager, and it's just a complete scam to like troll people into thinking that there's some kind of weird proprietary Rust based rewrite of homebrew that I have access to. Completely does not exist. This is a fake project. I just type in, I don't know, whatever I want, like just install prompts or whatever, just to troll people. So there's that. Gag. The gag is up on that one. I haven't done it for a while, so maybe some of you didn't know about that, but I use pick because there's no dependencies. No, I kind of just picked pick randomly. I didn't know that. Like I have ripgrep installed. I have fzf. I have all of that stuff. I have skim. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not too averse to installing things. Yeah, sorry to disappoint you. It would be awesome if someone rewrote homebrew in Rust one day, but yeah, it's a big, complicated endeavor. I looked into it a little bit after I made that joke. I was like, how hard would it actually be to rewrite? And I asked on my community page, and then I got busy with other stuff. But if someone wants to try to rewrite like a really fast caching version of that, I don't know. I think it would be. What's up, Plankton? Plankton was here all last night. Nice to see you. Yes, there is some. I don't know if that's hearsay, like you're saying it is, but people using ad blockers don't count as views. I honestly don't care. Like, just use an ad blocker. I would rather you not watch ads on my channel. People say, like, oh, I disable it for you. Don't do that. Your time is not... Like, if you want to support me that way, I guess you could just donate money, but the biggest thing you can do is share me with your friends. Just to find other like-minded individuals, but don't watch ads, even if that hurts me algorithmically and it doesn't count as views. You can offset that just by sharing it to other people, or there's like some hype feature now if you'd love to do that. That's nice. I hate to say like, comment, subscribe. It's so like, you obviously know to do that if you like my content. It's so demeaning, but that kind of thing, that's how you can offset your views if you're using an ad block not counting for me. But I honestly don't care. I think I'll just grow slower, and that's fine. Just people who are like-minded will find me at a slower rate, and I think that's totally fine. Oh, what's up, Sarv? How's it going? Brew is already pretty fast. Yeah, it's kind of just like a parody of... it's like people rewrite things that don't need to be rewritten in Rust, and it's like just absolutely ridiculously over the top. There's no need to rewrite homebrew in Rust. It's pretty fast. It's a great tool. But I was just kind of parodying that because I know people like... I know the autistic Rust crowd from No Boilerplate is like, oh, we need to find Rust replacements for everything. It's got to be faster. It's got to be Rusty. There's a Rust rewrite of Homebrew. Holy shit, I got to find and install that, and it just doesn't exist. So I knew I could get people... I knew there'd be some of you that watch No Boilerplate that would just get pulled in by that bit. Absolutely. Small percentage of people because you have to use Mac OS to know about it, but I think I got you pretty good. If I want to pay you, what's the ideal way? You honestly don't have to pay me. I just kick that down the road until I have a better way set up. Because you guys know that YouTube takes 30% of stream donations and stuff. Isn't that outrageous? That's like such a scam. That's absolutely crazy. So I don't like YouTube is thanks for supporting my hosting my content, YouTube. But other than that, like, goddamn, I do not like that. So probably the best way in the future, I think, for people that are, I don't know, that really want to support me, if that's how I'm going to make my living in life, for at least for a while, is I'll set up something outside of YouTube and outside of Patreon too, because they take a cut. And I'm a developer, I might as well. I'll just like roll my own Patreon with the Stripe API for credit card convenience or whatever, if you want to do that. I'll try to make it as lenient on fees as I possibly can. Or even host my own credit card verification server. Oh, that's ridiculous, though. You need, like, tons of certificates and stuff. Or I can just use Monero or Bitcoin. But the problem is not everyone has Monero or Bitcoin. Especially Monero is kind of a headache to get your hands on. You have to do a bunch of coin jumps and, like, anonymous... what's it called? If you're not in the EU, there's a bunch of regulations on Monero, so you have to jump through some hoops to get like legal coins into anonymous coins. It's not terrible, but it's like kind of a lot of work for people, and then there's transaction fees, gas fees to send crypto, so not opposed to it. I don't have a Monero or Bitcoin wallet publicly set up, but I can get it working. Yeah. Let's see. Here comes the Monero ad. Not really. I don't know. I'm not like a big Monero fan. Like I don't use Monero. Like I like to joke about it because I know like people watch Mental Outlaw and other channels like that are like obsessed with Monero. And if you guys don't know, Monero is just it's like Bitcoin but way smarter because it creates like 10 or something fake transactions per transaction, so it's extremely hard to trace. It's like the ultimate anonymous coin. It's used all over the dark web for transactions. But yeah, Monero is really cool. I think it lets you kind of step outside of the government. And I really respect the development of it. It's like a very creative idea, and it's like supporting of freedom, but I don't use it on a daily basis to pay for anything. So I'm not like I don't know much about the tooling and the wallets and whatever. I just think it's a cool project. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, damn, that's annoying. Someone just started mowing their lawn. Hopefully that isn't, like, affecting the audio too terribly. I can always turn my gain down and move this mic closer. Yeah. I saw his Wojak thumbnails, and that was enough for me, yeah. Yep. Can I send you 1 gram of gold? My Greek friend Jake actually loves gold so much. That's like his autistic interest, is like precious metals and old coins and stuff. So if you want to give us, send that to Jake. He would love that as well. Should we get a PO box you can send money in cash to, like how we pay for more? That would be crazy. I could do that, I guess. That's a little shady, but you support the Ladybird browser project. One thing I think that, I don't know, this is an attitude I have that maybe other people don't like about me, is I'm like a very, if it's not broken, if it ain't broke, don't fix it attitude, where I totally respect building a new rendering engine and new browsers and everything. I tried the Zen browser recently and it just wasn't fully feature complete yet. And the thing is with Firefox, I just love the setup I have. I love my extensions. It feels fast. It's got, I removed the headlights from it with some CSS. I don't remember what exactly did that, but I think it's just like a great experience. Firefox is just a great browser. I know they changed their terms of service to like absolutely just end privacy. And they're now a terrible company, but I can always go to like a fork of them in the future. And for now, it's like I'm already using Mac OS. My privacy is compromised. I'm already a streamer, which is unfortunate, and my privacy is compromised. And now it's like, so why even switch off my perfectly working config to like try to squeeze like 3 more drops of efficiency? Or I don't know. I totally respect the people that do that go to other browsers that try to support other new projects, because I'm doing that for Typst, and same attitude with LaTeX. But you got to pick your battles in some way, and the battle I'm picking right now is kind of get work done. And as cool and awesome as those new browsers are, it's just like my setup works, so I don't really want to fix it. Yeah. They did add AI slop. I saw that. I just have it all turned off. If it becomes too much, I'll absolutely jump ship in a heartbeat. And Zen, the problem is like the UI on the side, I found a little buggy and glitchy, and I tried to like get a configuration that looks like this, because I just like tabs, top bar, super simple, no plus or minus buttons. Just, it was missing a lot of configuration. You have to inject CSS to get some of this stuff, but Firefox supports that, and it's just, it works. My config works. I turned off the AI features, and that's all I really care about, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What's your favorite dev stack race? Dev stack / race? Dev stack, like for building. It depends on what you're trying to build. I guess I can say for web dev, I think my favorite stack is Svelte. And Svelte, for most use cases, you don't even need a backend, because if you don't know, like meta frameworks run also on the server. So it's kind of just like you don't need a backend server exactly. It depends on your use case. Sometimes you do if it's a more complicated thing, but for 90% of my use cases, I can just use Svelte as the full stack app, like Svelte Kit, obviously running kind of on the server and the client. And I just love Svelte because it's like interop with other packages is so easy. And now it's like so easy to add Tailwind to it. It's like great, just create a project, start working immediately. And it's the Svelte experience is just so much better than React in my opinion. And then on the back end, if I were to do like a full backend app, I'd want to check out the effect library, which like it's only really runnable now in the back end because it's such a big bundle, but it's just like if TypeScript was insanely functional and pure. And I do think it's a really cool project. So I'd love to look at that as a back end. And then obviously, sorry, I gotta blow my nose. What was I saying? Oh, the styling is like Tailwind. Oh, that's what works best for me. I like the locality of code, and I don't know. It's a debate to be had over and over again, but Tailwind is my favorite. And I don't use ShadCN, any design libraries. I don't really believe in that. I like full control. And then I use this website for icons, and it's called icons.js. It's just, I found it's the fastest. You can copy it. Just grab SVG, paste it. It just works. You can use like component libraries to make it easier to add these, but I honestly just hard code the SVGs into the DOM. And then I just leave like a little comment. Because I feel like it's kind of nice to have your project all organized with all these icons, and like you have an NPM dependency and a different folder for all the icons, and you can get IntelliSense on them. But it's like what is IntelliSense if just a fuzzy finder over all the options? And you can just go here and have a fuzzy finder over all the options, except now it's like not a dev dependency. So you don't have to deal with any bundling stuff. And you could copy like, oh, I'll make this its own Svelte component, put it in its own file. And then it's like, you're just, if you want to reuse an icon, that's awesome. Go ahead and do that. And for big projects, that's like a good idea. But for small personal projects, you're using the icon like once for a nav bar. I just paste in the SVG and I find it stays lighter. It stays more convenient. Let's see. Doesn't watch YouTube and chat, thinks he's a grifter. Yeah. Effect is a wrapper around a wrapper. Yeah, it's like super high level wrapper, tons of TypeScript bloat, wrapper. Ethan Nizer has acknowledged that too. He's not the main author, but he's a big proponent. He works at Vercel, and he says, I don't remember exactly. It's like, yes, it's bloatedy bloat, you know, where like running up TypeScript is on top of JavaScript with effect on top of TypeScript for like to do certain things. But the web has become so complicated and the websites are now like, you have no idea. I find people criticizing effect and stuff like that, how much goes into something like a streaming service like Hulu or whatever. And they've just got so much traffic, so many complexities in making all these edge cases work with all their streaming media and stuff, and all these errors that can happen. Sometimes just having an extremely like big library that can handle all those edge cases in a very like tight way is what they need. I often like, whenever anyone kind of criticizes a library, this is just a thing junior devs should do a lot less of, I think, because yeah, it's fine to hate on a library, it's fine to hate on a thing that you don't like. Well, that's obvious, but usually the people that are the biggest haters never faced the use case of the library. They're like, oh, React is trash, just use vanilla JavaScript, just use HTML, it's the lightest, best solution. And then that's great for your portfolio app, man, but like, say that you want some kind of modal web editor for graphics, like good luck implementing that in JavaScript yourself without components and the React like state management features. So it's like, anyone who trashes on something often just hasn't faced the use case. Because if you think about it, right, it took hours, actually thousands of hours to make React. Like any library like that, how many hours and time and thought from really smart people was poured into it. There are use cases where people use React and go too far, but then it's like, they made this for a reason. They didn't just make React to fuck with you because it's like complicated and weird and unoptimal. There's totally a reason like every framework and language is made, because it takes a huge time investment. 99% of them like have a use case and you're probably just not using it for that use case, and that's why people like, I'm suspicious of anyone criticizing a library like that. I think just be as supportive as you can of every library you see. Even if you like, oh, I like this solution better, at least think like, oh, in the past, this was the best we had for that. Maybe there's a new one now, but it's like, this isn't some piece of trash. Like thousands of hours were put into making it. Yeah, tools are tools, exactly. Don't hate on your tools. It's like if you're just a carpenter and you're like walking around being like, your hammer fucking sucks, dude. My hammer is so much more optimal, like titanium head, rubber grip, and it's like, okay, it still hammers in nails. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. Sorry, I don't have much of an opinion on HTMX and Alpine. Like, I haven't used hypertext media-driven website development a lot before, but it's a thing like, I don't know, so I'm not going to have a strong opinion on it. I think there's totally a reason it was created. It's probably an awesome reason, probably solves a lot of problems. So, yeah. I need to find a tissue real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, hopefully that's distinctly less nasally. Yeah. Rolling your own jQuery is GigaChad. Yeah. And jQuery too, people hate on jQuery. You know what surprised me? Have you ever heard of the website Corsicle? I don't want to, I might have like an old schedule saved here, but oh yeah, it finds, this entire website stack is in jQuery, and it's like an amazing website. Or the website Monkey Type, I think they might have migrated to something else, but this is a pure jQuery website. And people hating on tools is like, okay, bro, go trash on React and make your super optimal HTMX portfolio website. Well, the real chads use jQuery to make like an actually working monetizable product. Like, stop blaming and glazing your tools. Just get good at any tool. They're all tools. Some of them make certain things easier, but if you use jQuery, it might be really hard for you to roll some of your own stuff like state in certain places, but it's like, who cares? Because now you understand the DOM and like how state flows with an application really well. So trade-offs to everything. Do you think that Z Shell is the future of shells and Microsoft is going to lean towards POSIX compliance? That's a very interesting question. I haven't really thought about that much, actually. I would love if Microsoft did. I try not to use Windows in any regard, but my old job I had to, and it was infuriating. I don't know. I'm not like super big into shells, to be honest. Like, I wish I was more into shell scripting, but it's not something I've gotten that big into. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to get better at shell scripting. I'm mainly a Vim guy as of right now. Yeah, let's see. I wanted to show some more. Someone asked for a little more Typst content, so I guess that's a direction to take. I don't know. It looks like my roommate is also home. He might show up in just a sec. But I wanted to look at some Typst. Actually, let's look at this project. Typst. Oh, I guess I don't have it anymore. So if I go to my GitHub, I can actually do GI to focus that instead of F, and then let's see. Oh, I should look at if there's any issues. You can also do FAR capital R. Damn, that rerouted. I was trying to open it in another tab, but let's look for Typst Life. Typst Life, yeah. This is a project I think is pretty cool that I worked on a while ago using Typst. Okay. Typst Life. Oh, that's Typst Calculator, which is another project I kind of was working on and then abandoned. So if we go to opt2, this is the most optimal version of it. And it'll take forever to load because the page count, let's do 3, I guess. This might not even work. It might require some special export. But if I compile that and then opt2.pdf, okay, so it's basically Typst running the game of life in a PDF. So that's fry and range. Let's try that. Let's try to get a preview. Okay, there we go. So I wish I could make this more of a, and I bet I can now. I bet I have the type styling abilities. Let's see. Bash Bible. Okay, I'll try to keep my mind about that. Support you in your transition. Damn. That's crazy. Shout out to all my homies on the toilet. All right. Let's see. All right, back to Typst. So this is rendering the game of life, and it's pretty easy to code the game of life. It's a kind of trivial challenge, but the way you can do this in Typst really amazed me. So here's my entire solution is in these few lines. And this was all borrowed from like a paper I read called like Functional Life. Let's see if I can get this to wrap so it's easier to read. Oh, that's even worse, actually. Set no wrap. I can zoom out a bit maybe. So you see this function right here. This just gets the neighbors for all, for a thing, and it's pretty easy to understand, I think. So for a range of -1 to 2, which is just -1, 0, 1. So, you know, we're going -1, 0, 1, and then we're doing that again with another range, basically. And this is just getting all the offsets. So if you look at it like a grid, 2x2 grid, there's offsets of like -1, -1, -1, 1, -1, 0, you know, and it counts up like that. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but I guess on a grid like this, like it's just getting all the surrounding tiles of that point. Basically, it's just looping through the different offsets, right? And then we can map through all of those offsets. So all of those different points around here, right? And it's actually going to get the middle one too, because that's 0, 0. So we're getting this like square grid right here. And then each one of those, I'm just going to check right here. You see, if not, x equals 0 and y equals 0. So we're basically getting the neighbors. So we're eliminating the middle tile. So we're checking like these 9, eliminate the middle tile. And then at the end here, we just return that neighbor's position. That's pretty simple. And then this is just some stuff to join and filter down. Basically, this last line just filters out stuff that's outside. So if we get neighbors here, those are illegal positions, of course. So we just say if at 0 is greater than 0, and if it's at like the length, it's greater than the length. So just a simple filter. So this 4-liner, this 4-line function, which could even be a 3-line function. You know, it could be a 1-line. This could be, here's this entire get neighbors thing. My language formatter doesn't like that, but it's a 1-liner to get the neighbors because it's so functional. And then we take the life function. All this does is it takes one state of the board, and then what it does is transforms it to a new state of the board. So kind of like functionally it returns the next thing. And what it does is it gets this frequencies, which I'm not sure exactly what that is. Can I go to the definition of that? Okay, oh, okay. I implemented my own thing. This just counts how many of each neighbor there is, basically. So we're going to take the map, and for every cell, right, we run this neighbors thing. So we get all the cells for every neighbor. So for each one of these, we're going to get all the neighbors, and we're going to store them in a big list. And then this frequencies is going to count up how many we see each one. So we've seen this neighbor how many times. If we go through each one, you know, we'll see it. Let's do the edge one. So we see it 0 times for this one. We count here. We see all the edges. Then we'll see it 1 time, you know, and then we'll see it down here. We'll see it another time because all the neighbors touch this. So I don't know if that makes sense, but basically we count all the double counts, and we count how many times we count each other thing and each other's neighbors. And then all we do, once we have those frequencies, is run this simple filter that kills cells that are at 1, preserves cells that are at 2, and brings cells back if they're at 3, which is just the game of life. And then we just map back to convert this into a readable thing. So that is just like so amazing to me that this is a 1-liner to implement Typst in like linear time or implement life. It just goes through one pass, does everything. Like this is a PDF language. They did not have to give us these kind of fine functional controls. So yeah, I don't know. It impressed me. I'm not a fan of 1-liner multifunctions like the one shown. It's impressive and short, but readability suffers a lot when you have to change something. It's a nightmare. That's totally a valid concern, and I totally see that sometimes, and I switch to like an imperative style when that happens to me, because I realize that too. It's like you're just trying to do this to be smart, and yeah, it's like short and readable and awesome, but I don't know. That's kind of the pros and cons of functional programming. But I think once you get really into functional programming, it becomes more and more and more readable. That's just what I'm finding. But yeah, admittedly, while this is cool, it's a little useless. That's totally what I feel too. You need a very specific use case for Typst until it becomes useful. And I would say a use case for that is just if you have to export images that are programmatically generated or documents that are programmatically generated. This, like, you can type out the language, but it's also got a whole, like, if you go to the GitHub for Typst, let's see, I guess I can just Typst GitHub. Oh, that's Tiny Mist. GitHub Typst. I'm not finding it. I'll just look it up. Basically, what I was trying to say is this is also like a library. You know, you can write in the language. I don't know if they have the core library here, but it's like a Rust library. And you can expose the API of it, so you can like you can embed the compiler on your server or whatever. So your person sends you a document, you send them back a PDF version of it. Or that's why it's very powerful, I think. And the use cases for this are like really they're niche, they're weird, but they're definitely there. And this is like the most powerful way of doing that kind of thing. Like if you want to generate a comic book, a flip book, a user manual, even a documentation website, like it's a great way to just take like a user manual and spit out like a programmatic PDF instantly. And there are other projects, I don't want to totally give them away for free because I think they're kind of brilliant. No offense, but imagine what you can do with the ability to arbitrarily like rearrange and recompile any document, any textbook, like instantly. Like that doesn't sound that crazy until you start thinking about, okay, what if I want specific like user specific use cases, you know, that's like, I don't know, this is a little bit ridiculous, but you could have your entire textbook auto generate around math you're doing. And because it's like arbitrarily codable. And you could just like insert examples programmatically based on like the latest examples that you're writing. It's just auto inserted. That's kind of a bad example. Or like you're writing documentation, this could generate an entire textbook manual for you like on the fly as you type your documentation. It would like insert all the chapter headers, insert all the organization for you, insert everything. And tools like that exist like for Rust, but if you want it more custom, you like more paper printable, more like just a textbook or documentation that just auto generates and can be changed on the fly. And yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool potential. Yeah, I just used my mouse. Yeah, sorry. Typst is a Rust rewrite of LaTeX. Yeah, well, it kind of is. It does the same thing, but it does a lot more, and I think it does it a lot better. Yeah, but yeah, maybe you should do some stupid bullshit at times. It does help. Well, I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't dismiss Typst because like a lot of the things I use it for, like building a board game, is like so ridiculous. You know, like who does that in this day and age? But there are use cases I've seen that are more, I don't know, more acceptable. Did you ever explore Typst HTML export? Yeah, I use it all the time. Yeah, for my live preview. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess you could use it for static site generation. I haven't done that yet because I like to just type HTML. I think that's kind of fine. Yeah. Moderate criticism is good, but what's going on RN is not organic at all. It's an extension of IRL politics and feelings of people that want to justify their failures with external problems. Are you debating like politically with someone here? I might have. Oh yeah, you are. Sorry, not to interject on your Well, okay, I can show off the. So here's the Voyage cards I've got going currently. So this is a print version. It's black and white, and then I have like a switch to make them not print version. So let's see, where do I? It would probably be in Voyage. Oh, I am in Voyage. I thought I had like a one switch to Voyage config, 4-paper print. My tree sitter's just tweaking out. So we'll do that, and then we should see. Okay, my typed preview is maybe stale. 4-paper print false. I don't know. I'm gonna quit out of that and go back to it, and then open it up again. I think maybe that buffer got stale or something. Yeah, now it should load. It'll take a while. It's a 4-paper print board game, and I'm generating these. Man, it's taking a long time to load. After the first load, though, it's cached, so it's fast. I'm generating these just like for paper print, but the beauty of Typst is I could just make them all PNGs so that they'd be playable in like an online board game software, or I could export them at any arbitrary size or resolution or anything for multiple formats, and it's like the same source code, and you could define multiple exports. Okay, this is really taking a long time to load, and I think it's because I just have so many cards loading. But if I were to make this normally, oh, I see what's going wrong, is I don't have my env sourced, which tells me where my project root is. So if I go now to voyage.type and run a preview now, it should load within like 10 seconds, I think. And if it doesn't, I can always just compile it. There we go. So yeah, this looks a little ugly right now. Like this is the kind of final print version. I've got too much overlap, and this isn't a great symbol for the storm, but it's just outputting like a whole debug spread. And yeah. Do people actually use the Typst web thing? Oh yeah, tons of times for collaborating with each other. It has Vim bindings. It has multiple cursors for different people. It's quite good. Also, you coded even the arrows and graphics. I did. So do you see the wind table right here? This is all programmatic as well. So let's see, I think it's called Wind Table, yeah. You can see I'm using this canvas and generating this automatically, which means it's all programmatically controllable. So I could plug in 90-degree rotation and we'd see, okay, that was the center thing, so it's rotatable slightly differently. And these kind of point, these arrows, they represent like strong winds in certain directions, and I can control like the thickness of it all. So it looks like the thickness is being calculated right here, but say that I wanted to make it like ridiculously thick, I could do like that. And that obviously looks terrible, and there's a lot more fine tuning to be done, but I hope you can see at least. The power in this is like, it's basically infinitely customizable graphics, exportable as PDFs and PNGs and all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Let's see. Ayahuasca. What does that even mean, Jake Pappas? Ayahuasca. Yeah. You can come in and take over the stream for a second if you'd like, Jake. I really have to pee. And maybe people want to see you for a sec, too. Goated second monitor material. I'm just using my second monitor to watch the stream. I normally don't even use it. I just have it unplugged on my desk, to be honest. So I just don't need it. It's just, it confuses me more to be just split looking at people like with their window managers, and they've got 20 different screens, and they've got like their Neo Fetch and stuff up. It's like it's a little goofy. Like you're just doing that to look like you're at a spaceship control. There's no way you can even look at more than two things at once. I don't even like having a monitor with like docs up next to me. Well, that's not true. I do that very occasionally, but I don't like having a YouTube tutorial on one monitor and then a terminal on another. I want like the entire screen to be one app. Yeah. And I guess one thing I wanted to do on this stream before Jake crashes in, because I do really have to pee, but is work on my window manager. Make sure I have no like apps that'll expose me up. So the way it kind of works is I don't use a tiling window manager. I do, like if I create a new thing, that'll tile, and if I move this to the other page, it'll tile automatically. But I don't like having multiple things next to each other. So the way this is set up is in an app called Aerospace, and it's a TOML configuration. It's for Mac OS, and it's based on the i3 window manager. I don't know about Linux window management, but I've heard that's a kind of respected one. So all I have is a bunch of workspaces, like 9 of them. And then I can move to each of those, so these are all different workspaces right now. My screen key is outputting weird Mac OS symbols, but basically it's just Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes to the different workspaces. And I always, this is very Primeagen style, very a lot of other people's style, it's kind of ripped off, but I always just keep the same things in the same places. So Alacrity always stays in 1, Spotify in 3, Firefox in 2, my messages in just the G workspace. I guess there's some other ones. I have a PDF workspace, but I haven't touched this config in months, and it's quite stale. There is stuff I want to add to it, but... And then I have this Alt-Shift-Tab, which just snaps to another monitor, so I can just simply switch between monitors, and it just moves spaces. And then I have all my... This just, like, moves to... I can hit certain keys and move to, like... I have option 1 for Alacrity, option 2 for my browser, but I have just option L for my browser and option A for Alacrity as well. And it depends. The reason why I do that is some apps don't necessarily have a space they go into consistently. So like Figma, well, Figma does, but DaVinci Resolve doesn't, and that's my video editor. I just let it kind of wander. I put stuff in the miscellaneous 4 workspace, and I just go there and edit there. And when I'm in the 4 workspace, which is actually where my stream software is right now, I just manually put stuff there. So that's my entire window management setup. And tiling window managing is cool. Like that's cool. And I could customize it all and have 2 things next to each other. But my laptop screen is really small, and I want to just have one app open. Like that's all I need. I don't need a crazy Xmonad configuration. Like I don't need all these crazy presets and stuff. You can achieve really cool things with that. And so I don't want to dismiss it totally. But for my workflow, like Tmux is basically my custom window manager. You know, if I wanted to split, I could do all that split stuff. And Vim is also like, I can just split everything I want. VSP, HSP. I can fly around all my programming stuff with Vim and Tmux. So it doesn't make sense for me to have like this entire same binding setup for just like my browser, because all I'll ever want to do is put it there, and that's like I do that literally once a month, and then I can just I think I have keybinds to rescale windows, but it just does not bother me. And I set it to space 3 by accident, but yeah, that's the window management solution if anyone was wondering about that. And a lot of this config I've like barely read through or customized in a while. I should do a rewrite and get some other things going, because aerospace is capable. Let's see, aerospace of like lots of other things, and I find the docs pretty good. I think this is quite a good project, honestly. Yeah, 3 monitors is the biggest waste. I agree. I'm a 1 monitor guy. 1.1 monitor. Yeah. What terminal emulator? I'm using Alacrity. The reason is it just works. I don't use an image workflow, and Alacrity means swiftness or quickness in Latin, and I like they're supporting the classics there. That's an awesome name choice. And it's also, not only is it Alacrity an actual word, like Alacrity, but you've noticed they've spelled it with 1 T. Alacrity here, they've spelled it with 2 T's because it's like Alacra TTY. Like, isn't that such a clever just naming convention? It's just like, it's like a fast TTY. That is absolutely genius. So just for that, I have to give them the support. And it doesn't support images. It's not crazy feature rich, but I need it to do one thing and do it well. And if I go back to my config and open the Alacrity toml, I just get it. It just makes sense. It's like, here are the simple bindings. I don't even use search mode. I use tmux search mode like this, and then I can go up and I can go command, and then whatever, search to the next one. And they have features like that. I just don't use it. And then like, I just find it really easy. Like, you can just set environment variables like that on env key, and you just set the font size, and it's like they have bindings for zoom in and out. That's all I really need. And then themes, I think, I copy pasted that, and then you just choose like theme. I might just be rocking the default theme, to be honest. I don't even remember. Oh no, I'm using Blood Moon. That's interesting. I wonder if they have vague. Oh, it's get ignored. Vague. Nope, they don't. Probably Vague came out with it recently, but yeah. What are my thoughts on Emacs? To answer those two, Ghosty and Kitty, they also make the same puns. Wow, I never noticed that. I've always pronounced it a la Kitty. No, it's alacrity, because it comes from the Latin alacritas, which means fast. Not to actually use. Sorry, that was annoying. Benefits over Kitty and the other ones, not hugely, but again, like ain't broke, don't fix it. That's just my thoughts on it, and I like it. Curious, what are this guy's thoughts on Emacs? I totally respect Emacs. I think honestly it might be better than Vim from what I've heard of how configurable it is, and eLisp is really cool. The reason I'm not is, again, it ain't broke, don't fix it. I can get a lot of work done. Like, if my whole life amounted to switching to different progressively more optimal setups, I would never achieve anything that's like visible to normal people. And I love Emacs, but I understand why people prefer. Exactly. Vim is also great. Like, I think Emacs users, the smart ones, don't trash back on Vim either, because they now, especially Vim's configuration system with Lua, like, if you look at this is a fully Turing complete scripting language. You can do anything. And you're constrained by a couple of weird things, like certain window properties, but basically you can do anything you want in either of them now. It's just like, what do you prefer? And the Vim ecosystem is getting really big for beginners. I think that helps bring more people into it. But if you're really serious, Emacs is just as good, if not better. I think their resources are just a little drier and older now. For whatever reason, like, Vim, from just a few YouTubers in certain ways, have made it bigger. Maybe I'll one day switch to Emacs just to like bring more people to it, because I'm kind of sad that it's not dying, but it's a smaller and smaller crowd as the big YouTubers use Neovim. And I think, just giving them some support, because it's a great project. It's just it's a well done piece of software as well. I don't really think there's a big difference, honestly. Yeah, I would use, exactly, hobby journalist, same. Poseidon, yes, that's a funny Easter egg, yeah. I really have to pee, though. I'm gonna get Jake to take over for a sec. Is that not swapping productivity cools? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no reason to do it. It would just bring me down another rabbit hole, and like, it would not help the world out that much if I just switch sides constantly. All right, I'll get Jake to entertain you guys. Yo, Jake, can you hop on stream real quick?
My people, where's the camera? Ah, right there. Hello. I bring ramen and ouzo. How's everybody doing? Yo. What's up, guys? Dude, I appreciate the, Whoa. You guys are going crazy. Yo, what's up, hobby journalist? I know you. Poseidon, I recognize that name. Victor Kokosik. I think I remember that name. Still drinking that ouzo? You know it. What's up, guys? Can I date you? Maybe. Tell me about yourself, Team Marina. Tell me about yourself. Why should I date you? Give me like a, I don't know, four of your top qualities. Why should I date you? Yo, by the way, guys, this is not water. It is not water. It is ouzo. That's good ouzo. Yo, what's up, Journal? Jake Franklin. What the F?
Jake Franklin.
Gotta change something more readable? I mean, but we know you, so like, we could call you something else. Like, you don't need to like change your name. We could just have a nickname for you.
Yeah.
If you want, like WK. Or just like Polish guy.
Or Victor.
What ramen you eating? Just plain ramen because I'm autistic. You know.
But what brand though?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's Top Ramen. Usually I'm a Maruchan fan, but since I eat ramen plain anyway, it like doesn't really matter that much, but you know, the noodles are pretty chill.
You should just save up all the spice packs and then snort them at the end of the year.
Yeah, I should do that. Choosing a date for Jake, let's go. All right, yeah, guys, I need to I need a girlfriend. Help me out.
Yeah. Learn trending languages or what I'm familiar with? That's a great question. I don't know. I'd say learn everything. People say jack of all trades, master of none, but as long as you like are putting in hard effort and not just like a lot of time, you can learn a lot of different things. How do people think we're brothers? We look nothing alike. Oh yeah, greetings from Chile. Nice.
Yo. Do they know about the Chilean-related story?
Oh,
it could be funny lore. Worth sharing.
You guys know I used to date a 25-year-old Chilean race car driver? She was crazy.
Don't say too much.
Yeah, I don't want to.
What have I done today, Victor? I actually, I was just out with my family. They're visiting this past weekend. They just went home, though. We went out to breakfast. That was really nice. We walked around a little bit. Then we went to the Ben & Jerry's factory. We just saw, where Ben & Jerry's ice cream is made. It was, like, pretty interesting, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of dystopian and disturbing. Like, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies, I'm not going to lie. Like, just the fact that they're commercializing such, like, a weird... I don't know. Like, it's just, like... Oh, it's just weird to have a tour of a factory. I don't know. It weirds me out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Jack of all trades, a master of none, but a master of some is better than a master of one. That's the full phrase, yeah. I guess I came up with that myself. I did not know that. Yeah. All right, I'm probably gonna end the stream pretty soon because we have to clean our apartment. We have a couple of hags.
Oh, they're coming over?
They might be. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, how do you find girls, bars, clubs? I like to use the FZF command just because it's fast and written in Golang. Whip grep is good too. Tour de factory. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.